Whenever a quantifier is placed before a character, it extends that character for some length. So for example, there are lots of quantifiers in RE. So first one is plus. Plus indicates that a particular character can be repeated one or more times. And similarly, star represents that a particular character can repeat 0 or more times, and question mark allows a character to either exit one time or 0 time. And similarly, we can represent the exact number of occurrence using a curly bracket. And if the curly bracket has only one number, then it means that exact that number should be repeated. And if the curly bracket has two numbers, then it represent a start and end. So in the example, you can see HJ35. That means there is no quantified for H. So H should be present only one time, and J can be repeated 3 to 5 times. And similarly, if the curly bracket contains only one quantifier followed by a comma, then it represents the minimum number of occurrence. And similarly, if it is having a comma followed by a number, then it represents 0 to maximum n occurrences. So the first question is we must match all the strings which starts with ABC and ends with 1, 2, 3. So as per the question, it should start with ABC and it should end with 1, 2, 3. So in between there can be any number of characters. So for that I will use /w, and we must give a quantifier star. So this star allows that the /w can be repeated 0 or more times, and when you run, you can see that it is starting with ABC and ending with 1, 2, 3, and in between there are 0 or more characters. The next question is we must find all the strings which start with A followed by at least one B. And the pattern will be starting with A, that means A should be present only one time, and followed by at least one B. At least one B means B should be repeated at least one time. So I will use the quantifier plus for B. Now we must find all the strings which starts with A followed by 0 or more B's. That means B can be absent or it can exist more than one time. This is input string. So according to the question, minimum one occurrence of A should be there. So followed by 0 or more B's. So I will put star after B. So star is a quantifier for B, which states that B can be repeated 0 or more times. So the next question is we must find all the substrings which start with 5 followed by at most 1, 4. So that means after 5 either 1, 4 can be present or it can be absent. So there is a compulsory occurrence of 5, and after 5 4 can be present either one time or 0 time. So for that I will use the quantifier question mark, and this gives the answer. So the next question is, we must match all the four digit numbers which starts with 8. So that means first character should be 8 and followed by any digit, and this should be present 3 times. So the quantifier is single curly bracket 3. So this curly bracket 3 represent that slash d can be repeated 3 times. So hence there will be 4 digit, first one is 8 followed by any 3 digits. So now we must find the strings which start with 3 and followed by 2 or more zeros. That means first character should be a 3 and followed at 2 or more zeros. So for that the quantifier is minimum is 2 and maximum it can be anything. So I will use just 2 comma and close the curly bracket. So now this quantifies 0 to occur 2 or more times. The next question is, we must match all the strings with end with at least two zeros. So it should end with at least two zeros. So for that the ending is 0 followed by 2 comma. So this quantifies 0 can be present 2 or more times, and since the substring should end with at least 2, it can start with any digit. So this particular slash d matches a single digit which is being followed by 2 or more zeros. So the next question is, we must find all the strings that end with at most 3 zeros. So first I will copy the input. So a string should end with at most 3 zeros, that is maximum occurrence is 3. So for that comma 3 is a quantifier. So slash d will match a single digit. So this permits a digit followed by at most 3 zeros. And the next question is, the strings should have at least 2 to 5 ones from third position. There is an input string and we must find a substring which has at least 2 to 5 ones at the third position. So 1 should be 2 to 5 times. So since it is placed in the third position, the first two positions is slash d. The next question is, we must find all the strings which start with 12 and ending with 45. and there is no restrictions of number of trees in between them. That means tree can be present 0 or more times. So the pattern is it should start with 12 and end with 45. So in between there can be 0 or more trees. The next question is we must find all the strings. It starts with 2 or more A's and end with at least 3 B's. So pattern is it should start with 2 or more A's. So for that A quantifies 2 or more times followed by any character. So for that slash W, and this character can be present 0 or more times. And it should end with at least 3 B's. So the quantifier is tree and comma.